Good afternoon, YouTube. It is everyone's favourite unemployed plant guy. It is a random Thursday, and this is what we're working with. I have a Ficus Benjamina. There's a couple of cuttings that I've planted in the front, so we're going to pot them up as well. What I want to do is take this out of this pot and put it into this pot. This is a Shimpaku Juniper. It's about 10 years old, I would say, maybe 15. Bought this off eBay from a guy who had a go and probably didn't know where to take it, and to be fair, neither do I. So we'll see. But this is going to go into this will go into that, and then we've got some cuttings here that we'll pot up into these. So let's get cracking. I think first things first, we should probably work on this bad boy. Okay, this has been in this pot for a bit over a year now, I would say. It is potted up in akadama, pumice, and some sifted potting mix. And I've heard people say that you should never put akadama with junipers, but this thing is doing well, although I have had others that did not. So let's just take it out and see how it's looking. Heaps of crap on the top. So much crap on the top. Let's just take that out. Get rid of that. That can all go in there. So can that. Alright, let's just kind of tease everything away. Now is a good time to repot, providing you're not going too crazy with it, just because we are heading into winter. And what happens is this is going to go into dormancy soon and send all of the energy to its roots. The thing with junipers as well, and you're probably already aware of this, the thing with junipers as well is they store their energy in the foliage. So you don't want to go too hard on that, especially at a time when it's, like you can when it's going into dormancy, but right now I'm probably not going to. Okay, so this doesn't actually have a massive root ball. I thought it would have a bigger one. So it hasn't really grown into that pot. I'm still going to put it in this one, just because it's going to be in there for a long time. So let's shift it over. Let's tip most of this, or all of it, back in, because there's some good organic matter in that, well, drainage in that. Load it up with this, and again, this is just a potting mix I use. It is premium potting mix with some perlite and vermiculite added into it. That's pretty good there. I'm not going to do too much work on the root ball, just because it needs it, but I just wanted to recenter it because it was growing against the edge of this pot, and I didn't want it to be in the pot like that for ages, because eventually it would just not grow roots down one side of the tree, and that wouldn't be very good for buying. Or surface roots, I'm not Japanese. Okay, poke this down the edges, just make sure it's secured. There's enough dirt here to keep it in place, I'm not too concerned about that. I'm not going to bother about tying it in. Though, this is the front. Probably more like that. I'm going to take this down just because it's growing. Ow, these scissors are hot. And then take that back just because it's growing too much that way. I actually want this to continue growing, because in my head I'm going to strip this back, make it gin, and then make this almost like a smaller second apex over here, and then the rest of the tree will kind of be this section here. So for the time being, I'm not going to do too much more on this tree. I'm just going to pop it back and let it grow, but eventually I might bend that over this way a bit more. Even now, I could do something like that. In fact, I might do that. So, probably hook it on here. Hook it on here. I'm not going too aggressive with it. Just getting in over the top. Trying to avoid pinching the foliage as best as I can, but there is a lot in there, so you can just take some out. And again, this is just a rough wiring. I don't have to go in and do all of the branches, though there are a lot in here that I could for refinement later. This is mostly just to get it going in the direction I want it to. Make this more of a side branch, keep this as the apex. And so kind of bending it like that. Let's take a look at it. And then I can maybe even just kind of trim these sections here back. And I'm not being too careful with this. I know you're meant to, I could twist it a bit. Kind of set it. And then this becomes the apex. Flatten that a bit maybe. Push these down. That can go down eventually. Do I want to do it now though? Maybe something like that. We'll see. And then, okay. That's roughly it. Eventually this goes down and this comes up a bit more, and then that will be the final kind of setting of it. It is going to be a tall kind of slender tree. I've accepted that, but I think I'll just put it in a shallower pot. Okay, that's that one done. Now I did have to make up a little bit more soil just because I used the last of it in that pot. Again, it is the same as it always is. In fact, it's easy to just do it like this. I just kind of get a box of some perlite, vermiculite, chuck it in, kind of just cover the base with it, and then just tip the soil over the top, and eventually you get a mix like that. Bit glittery, but it works. This pot, I don't know if you can see it, but it has a little catch at the bottom where I can kind of hold it. It's like a little lip. I don't know how I feel about that, so I might actually just kind of stab some drainage holes into it. That'll do. It's a bit brute force, but it'll work. Pot still seems fine. Okay. This is the Ficus Benjamina that we're working on. I bought this as tube stock less than a year ago. Put it in this pot, put it in with proper bonsai soil, which was a mistake because now it hasn't grown really much at all. So the plan is to put it into a bigger pot, give it some more organic mix to keep it thriving, as well as there's these two cuttings here which I'll pot up here, and then I've also got these propagations that I took. We've got a Shimpaku Juniper off that last tree and a variegated Ficus Benjamina here that's doing really well. There were some maples in here, but I didn't really look after them the best. I think the humidity got a bit too high and they ended up dying, so we'll sort those out. Okay, let's take this out. Oh, That was easy. Let's see what we're working with. So I'm just going to try and gently tug these away. And they've got a good little root system going. You can see two good little, they'll be nice little trees one day. So pop those up. And I'm just kind of holding it roughly in place with my fingers, and then I'm just going to tip the dirt in around it. It's really not rocket science, just try not to damage the roots too much. Going into winter, now's a pretty good time to be doing this. It's going to be sending all of its energy down to its roots while it goes into dormancy. Autumn is a big kind of root growing season, especially for deciduous trees. Okay, that's one, do the other. Again, just kind of hold it in place, fill it. Try and, just because there's not much root for it to hold, I'm trying to bury them, plant them quite deep. Kind of as deep as you would with a cutting. So this little propagation tank, quite cool because you can just kind of open it up like that, and then you've got a little so I can basically just transplant that. That's all pretty well roots in there. I can just transplant that straight into a pot, which makes my life way easier. So get a bit of, and again I'm going to try and bury it quite deep. I'll plant it quite deep. And that's not really deep enough, so I will just fill it, push it down. God, I'm getting sweaty. This is probably going to have to be the last one for a bit, then I'm going to go inside and shower, probably make some lunch. Coffee break. Okay, that is 3. Let's do 4. Then we'll have a look at this. Not going to do too much work on it. I might just kind of bring that down. Oh, that was easy. And then just get it into that pot. And I think that will grow much faster once it's in there. So again, just kind of open this up. See what we're working with. Kind of pull that away. Are there any roots in here? This might be a bit too soon. No, that one didn't make it. Don't need that anymore. Let's see what's happening here. I'll just scrape away. The thing I did like about this tree is that there was a good layer of moss in it. And there's something about bonsai people and moss, but I really like it. I think it's nice to look at. I'm a little bit proud of it because it's the first tree that's really had a good layer of moss on it. So I'm going to keep it and put it in here. Okay, pop that there. I'm just going to tip this in. Because it is mostly still good soil. See how this sits in the pot? A bit low. Add a bit more. See how this sits? That's about where I want it to sit. About there. And then we'll just fill it in. Immediately moved it. And again, not going to do too much work to this one, just because of the time of the year we're going into. It will send roots, but I also want to keep as much energy on the top of the tree as I can, because ultimately that's where it's going to get future energy as well as the roots from to grow more. So I'm going to keep this one pretty much as is. Maybe just bend, there's cobwebs all over this. Maybe just bend this down a little bit. Keep that there, and then this will be the new leader. Alright, let's get these watered. Thanks for watching. I've been Unemployed Plant Guy, and if you like the video, like the video. Thank you. Oh, coffee.